Welcome to the Tactical Games Performance Podcast. This is the National Championship Performance Podcast. This is going to be my favorite podcast of the year because it's
all the good info, all the juicy stuffs.
The last one that we have to do this year, the last one we get to do this year.
All about mindset,
which is an unfortunate thing, but also a great thing. It means the season's over and we're starting next year.
No more travel.
What a wild-ass year.
I actually just put together the stats for our travel for the year.
Oh, all right. Let's hear it.
Which is absolutely staggering.
Staggering.
And I'm not even to say that jokingly. We spent 390 total hours driving a car, which equates to 16 plus days, which equates to 16 days, just short of 4 months of total travel. Sorry, I skipped that one. So total days spent traveling was 107. So this is from SHOT Show all the way to South Carolina, which we did twice. So 15 weeks. So it was just shy of 4 months, and we drove a total of 26,000 miles this year.
I think we could have driven from the space station to the moon.
Just about.
26,000, that seems low.
The truck has like 30 and change on it. So like all of our in-between drives, all that stuff. So, I mean, we put almost 30,000 miles on this year.
Yeah, I think 36,000 was what I had in my truck that we added this year.
Yeah, insane amount of travel.
It's a lot of driving.
It's a lot of.
How do you feel?
A lot of gas station fart burrito smell from Gil the whole trip. So it's I'll survive.
Insider information that nobody knows yet. You know what we should do? We're gonna do a podcast. Our next podcast is gonna be our review on the year. We'll get Gil in on our review. One. Yeah,
it's just gonna be 37 minutes of Gil just pissed. He's just gonna be upset the whole time on the podcast. So maybe we'll have him go on last once everybody's kind of started to tune out.
There you go.
Yeah. You don't want to put him first. Love you, Gil.
All right. Well, so let's talk about what we're talking about today.
Yeah. After action report. It was a great showing this last weekend. It was really cool. I mean, Gil and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think I know for nationals it was record attendance for both athletes and spectators.
Yep.
We had a record amount of vendors at the event.
Oh, yeah,
so
sure.
Over 40 vendors there, which was doubled from last season. And I would say like some performances were probably record performances by some people. I mean, the accuracy that you saw in across the divisions was pretty impressive.
Yep.
And especially when you get into the upper brackets of each of the divisions, you're starting to see very, very minute amounts of variation in percentages for accuracy.
Yep.
And you start to really see where certain athletes started to take it away. You get a couple of shooting percentages here and there on stages, and that adds up over your 11 or 12 events for the weekend.
Yeah. No, I was a big fan of most of the stages. There was a couple things that going back I would have changed. If we did it again, we would have changed. But for the most part, everything I think went really well. There was a couple, and we've talked about it, the runner stage, the penalties being assessed on the runner stage. We could have made changes there. The long range, I think bringing some of the movers in a little bit. I think the course of fire that the other divisions, not men's elite, shot for the mover stage might have been a little bit better if we kept that for the elite stage. But other than that, I think everything went really well. I was pretty happy. The funny thing is I didn't get to watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of it?
I got a chance to watch like here and there throughout the days, but I mean, we're just kind of just running around back and forth, and it's like you got one thing to do and 7 people are calling your name by the time you try to get to B, position B, and you're always doing shit. So I did try to watch a handful of competitors do like some of the action stages, which I like to watch, and doing the big bag stages and all that. I enjoyed watching some of the guys in elite do chipper and oof, which was fun. Those were awesome stages. The new big box that we revealed for chipper version 2.0 was awesome. So I really enjoyed that stage.
And we leading up to the event, the amount of building that we had to do was pretty intense.
We spent what Nick thought was going to be a day or two of building stuff turned into a week of building stuff.
Oh, I figured the boxes were going to take a day, and we built them in a day.
No, each part of the box took a day.
Well,
cutting everything took a day.
What I realized is that I'm not ever going to let you and Gil build anything without supervision ever again. Because I showed up the next day, and the amount of work that we completed in one day, the next day, you two managed to complete about half of that together.
No. We were down a man, first of all. And
The only one that knows how to use power tools.
second of all, I know how to put the battery into things, and I've got Google, so I can figure the rest out. But we did get all the boxes. We got all this plywood on the frames of the boxes.
You did. I'm so proud of you.
We did good. We did good. And
No,
they were
that
still
was-
symmetrical.
It was a lot of work, and but the effort that was put in was not lost, and I think it was reflected in the stages and the final product.
Yeah, definitely. I think, looking over the feedback surveys, we got, 50 plus people that sent those in. The biggest narrative that I saw was efficiency of staying on time.
Yeah.
And being on schedule, which is huge. That's always the one of, obviously safety, right? But like staying on schedule is huge for us.
And a lot of that goes into the planning and the preparation for the stages specifically. So I know that there was some feedback about like some of the stages being shorter or some of the stages having, nuances that people were unsatisfied with, but specifically for an action stage, right? One of the biggest things on Friday was we were dealing with a short time frame, even with only having 160 competitors out there. So this is something that happens towards the end of the year when you get to winter. The light amount of daylight shrinks. I know. It's a new story.
Say.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I can show you a chart.
Interesting.
It's in the Farmer's Almanac. That's where you can find it.
I've heard of that ancient thing. Yeah.
So, with shortened daylight, we ran into an issue last year where we had a more complex 2-gun stage, and we weren't able to get everybody through it, and we had to throw it out for a couple divisions. And that's like, there's nothing worse than putting all that effort and time into building and creating a stage than to have it where certain people don't get credit for it or it gets thrown out. So, although the action stage on Friday was a little bit short, it still created the separation that we wanted to create. It still created a challenge. It still had a rifle target that was very, I say very difficult. That was difficult for a first time if you've never experienced it. It required high skill. And I think that maybe if I were to change that, I would consider going in and doing like a Texas Star immediately into the spinner. Yeah. That would be a cool dynamic where, you still have things going on. And anyways, we're here to talk about other people's performance, not ours.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about, let's jump into the Masters 50 plus.
Yeah, Masters 50. You know what we didn't do before we did this podcast, and I'm kind of annoyed, is we didn't double check our predictions for Nationals.
Oh, okay.
We should have done that. Anyway, we'll retroactively go through that, and we'll see who picked more podium finishes.
Okay, all right, yeah.
But, we both did have John Murray coming out on top.
I think you picked Earl.
I did. I recanted that after I saw John's name. I just wasn't reading.
I picked Chad, and I picked Brandon. So I got 3 of the top 5 in this one.
I did pick John. I picked Earl, and I want to say I picked.
I thought you just said you took Earl away.
No. I took Earl away from my first pick.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I didn't take Earl. You can never count Earl out. He's always a great performer. I know. I remember I picked those first 2. I can't remember who my third pick was. Maybe it was Wyckoff. But I mean, dude, John Murray, he had a hell of a showing.
He did, but it was closer than it's been in previous years.
It was. I think Laurel's put in a lot of work on the shooting.
Yeah.
And it showed this weekend for sure.
Let's click into penalties. I'm curious because John Murray's got 540 seconds worth of penalties. Let's see where those came from. Oh, it was stage 1. It created a lot of it. Oof. There was a lot of penalties on Oof too. And it looks like back to Chorin, he had some penalties there too. I don't know if those are misses.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I got 19 misses on back to Chorin. 120 seconds worth of misses on Oof. So that's 12 misses on Oof.
Yep.
And he missed he didn't engage 3 of the movers. So yeah, there was a lot of, that was it. It seems like that's still pretty good efficiency. What do we have for percentage there? I don't know what that would be. How many stage wins did John have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stage wins. 2 second place finishes, 3 second place finishes. Yeah, kind of tough to lose when you've got that kind of performance.
Yeah. That's what you start to. I mean, that's what you start to see when you get into second and third. You see those gaps start to get pretty wide. But I mean, even I think the lowest he's got on here is a 7th place finish on assaulted in a biathlon.
One of the things to point out here, though, is he had a 41% on stage 1 on a long range stage.
That's huge. That's a huge gap.
Yeah. And then so one of the things that we did here is how a poor performance in a stage like that could result in, means that people are out of the who's been doping at this marathon.
Yeah,
How that would knock people out of contention.
Yeah.
Chad cleared that stage. It looks like he got 102 seconds of time.
Second place is 60%.
Because he didn't clear it.
Yeah.
50 seconds worth of penalties. I think that's a FTE on a mover.
Yeah.
And then a miss,
Yeah.
steal miss. So, and Todd Thompson, he's awesome. I like Todd a lot. But yeah, if you go down to percentage wise, that's a huge difference in performance. But that's a huge skill gap.
Yeah, massive. I mean, again, like that was our toughest carbine course of fire that I think we've done, and it showed. It showed for sure. I think we ended up having only 4 people clear that stage for the weekend.
Let's go back to the overall. So let's click into Earl's and kind of see, because way less penalties. He missed all of the steal. And it looks like he got an FTE on one of the movers as well. 270 seconds worth of penalties there.
Yeah.
Other than that, he shot incredibly well.
Yeah.
Back to Chorin, 21 misses. One miss. And then Cream, 1 miss. So 1 miss on that. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Action stage. It's a great showing for the weekend.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And then who do we have? Chad was the 3rd place.
Chad Smith was 3rd place. Yeah, let's see where he's at.
What we got here for misses, penalties? You got about 26 on back to Chorin. That definitely changed things in the leaderboard for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then 6 here on
Oof.
What was that? Oof, and 10 on Cream, so 1 miss on Cream.
Yeah. I think that's probably 2.
Oh, that's right, because that was a 2-gun stage. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So
actually, that's 4 misses.
Is that what we had for penalties?
I'm pretty sure it was 2.5 second penalties on that stage, but that knocked him down to 7th place and gave him a 70%. Go into let's check out Cream. Not just for Chad, so X out of the overall. Click that X.
Mouse was giving me problems.
And then go into Cream. So we're looking at percentages here. I mean, John beat the next closest shoot. Oh, so he actually didn't win in total time. He won because of penalties. Mm-hmm. So he ran that stage about 1.5 seconds. We'll call that 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds slower than Mike Griswold. But Mike Griswold, it looks like, had a miss. That's what it was, or 2 misses. They were 5-second miss penalties on that stage. Poindexter did great. Look at that. Brandon Wyckoff is right behind him. So you see that top performance and then how that scale shifts in between it. So although the stage was simple, that simplicity still lent to a wide scoring variation.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at top place at 100%, the bottom score is at 21% of that. Scroll down a little bit more. Let's make sure that's 21%. Yeah, 21% is the lowest possible in that. So time cap, he probably didn't get the spinner over and got a 60-second penalty there. So you see a wide swing in scores based on skill.
Yeah, and there was something, so when we were looking at our feedback survey, and we were talking about this earlier today about like floaters and shooting aggregates, like shorter stages being worth, going back to 50 match points versus 100 match points. And I think you had a really good point that you had brought up that I think you should share, just about like the specialty of the stage versus it being shorter or longer, not really having an effect on how much points it should be worth.
Don't suck.
No. At anything.
No, it's a skill gap, right? And Gil and I have talked about this in detail for over a lot. If there's a 250-pound bag on a stage and somebody can't move that bag, they're going to get a 0% on that stage. Yeah. These shooting aggregates, they are a skill. Practicing with your rifle, your pistol, 2-gun style stages, they're a skill that you need to work at. The duration of the stage shouldn't make a difference on how many points it's given, because they're all things that we test, and we test all year long. A run is a single modality thing. Just because it lasts for 60 minutes doesn't make it any more or less valuable than a stage that might last, in this case, 38 seconds. There are skills that need to be acquired and things that we're testing, and to devalue one specific thing because it is single modality doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And I think what cheapens the overall event. The intention is to do well at everything in the sport, not to just do well at the things that are worth a lot of points. Where do you want to go next?
Let's see. So we did men's 50. Let's go ahead and go down to women's 40.
Oh God, what do we call it? Cougarville.
Cougarville. not what we call it. That's what the ladies of women's 40
the
call it.
ladies of women's 40 plus.
I think,
And if you look at here too, look at here. Lauren Sharpless, who I didn't know before the match, maybe she's competed before. I'm sure. Obviously,
Yeah.
she qualified. I hadn't met her personally. She crushed it all weekend long.
she did. I mean, she had almost a 40-point lead at the end of the event.
Well, if you look at it too, like she's at 998 match points, I think is what that says, out of
Yeah.
1,100 possible for these women.
So she had a stage she didn't win.
I mean, a couple, but yeah. She performed very close to the top performer. Because remember, score is relative to placement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or score is relative to performance of the first place score. So, even though she got a couple finishes at 98% for Raising Arizona, she was very close to the next competitor. 32 misses, it looks like, on.
Back to Chorin.
Yep, and then looks
3.
like she got a miss on Cream.
Yeah, and then 3 on Oof. So I mean, still she shot very well.
Great shooting all weekend, yeah, for sure.
Something she must have time capped on back to Chorin, I would imagine. Actually, we can tell right now.
No work penalties.
Back to Chorin, 6:15. No, she just didn't shoot great.
Yeah. Well, 32 misses. Which one was back to Chorin again?
That was our farmers carry. That was like our traditional TTG stage that we did.
And then where did we shoot that out of? Was that any canted ports or anything like that? That was a
It
further
was.
rifle shot. There were canted ports on rectangles, I'm pretty sure.
It was about 60, I think 65 and change for the rifle shot on that.
So maybe not accounting for the muzzle rise, she missed out.
True.
Or she shot somebody else's target. That's another thing that was a pretty common thing. Definitely very close in that 4th and 5th place race. So I think
half a percentage point. Wow.
I called Christy, I called Nicole, I called Becky. I'm gonna say I got 3 out of this one. 3 out of my top 5.
So I had Tina up there in my top. Tina was just outside of it by only a couple of match points. But I know I did have Becky, Nicole. I want to say I had Vanessa as well too. I can't remember. See, this is why we should have done this before. But anyway, I know I got a couple of them out of there. But I mean, tough division. A lot of competition
Awesome division
here.
The women were cool. Like
Yeah.
the women in this division were cool. They worked their asses off. They're out there like doing all the shit that somebody and it was Krista, and I'm sorry for calling out. She was saying that like we're doing the same stuff that the men's 50 plus is doing.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, yeah, you are, because you guys are a bunch of strong women that are out there pushing one another to be better. It's cool as shit.
Crushing it.
Where are we going next? Men's 40?
Yeah,
All
men's
right.
40 plus.
Dude, listen, Nate, I love you. I gave Clint the win all year long, and then last second I gave it to Nate.
He pulled back.
That was a cool race, though. It was cool watching all 3 of these guys, Jason Deal, Nate Drum, and Clint Gower. Absolutely crushed it. James Kling was awesome.
Hove did great the whole weekend as well.
So I think he had one rough start, if I remember. That was probably in the click into Hove real quick. Joey, too. I think Joey had he finished 4th at Who's Been Doping. Oh, a square grouper run and Cream. That's the one that got him. It looks like he didn't time cap, but he had 2 misses and was real far off. So yeah, 21.
Yeah.
What was the percentage points on that one? Scroll over to the left. Yeah, he got 30%ed on that.
That's rough.
Tough one to overcome. Go back to the main page. So let's say you got 30%ed, so that's a 70-point swing there. Where's the point spread? 286.
Let's go to that stage real quick.
No, I'm looking there for total points. You're good. Yeah, so I mean, 70 points. Just say he would have won that stage, would have bumped him up into the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. But I mean, again, like you get into the upper percentage, you get into the upper guys in each division, man. I mean, it doesn't take much to kick you out of it or get you back into it if somebody else makes a mistake. So, Brandon Rodas breaking top 10. Happy to see him up there.
Yeah, Brandon Rodas is new to the sport this year. He was tremendously helpful in getting Texas Shooting Academy set up. So thank you very much, Brandon, for everything that you did, helping out with moving some dirt around for us and making that range as good as it could be.
Yep.
Appreciate that very much. So wait, what do we got here? I think I got 3 of these as well.
I'm pretty sure that was my top 3.
I don't think so. No.
I want to say I know I had Clint.
I think you had Matt Elliott up there.
I might have mentioned Matt Elliott. I don't know, man. I know I had Clint, Nate, and Jason up there. I might have had Joey up there in my top 5.
Oh yeah, I think I had Joey in mine too.
What happened? So what happened with Joey?
And for those of you guys that are concerned about our picks, we do this because we're fans of the sport. We love watching you guys. I don't care who wins. Do you care who wins?
No, not at all.
No,
Not unless I have money on it, and I don't have any money on it right now, so we're good. We're good. I don't care who wins.
So for us, it's just as fans of the sport, we like to talk about the competitors in our sport, specifically the ones that we know and the ones that we're getting to know, like new guys like Brandon Rodas this year has been new, and it's fun for us to talk shit to one another and see who's going to win and go out there. So if we didn't call your name, it was not meant to be disrespectful at all. We just wanted to put something fun out there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're still going to figure out what's owed by whoever lost our bet.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm up now, so there's only
this
like
is
2
all
divisions
speculative.
left.
This is all speculative until we actually put these down on paper.
Go to the next division where I'm going to win again.
Well, I was trying to see what happened with Joey's performance because, I mean, Joey usually is a good contender.
Friday was rough for him. Friday was rough.
Yeah, look.
He's been doping at this
15.
marathon, so the long range stage, the run, and I mean he did well in Cream. He did okay in Sisyphus, and Oof kind of wore him out too.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got 320 seconds worth of penalties on Oof.
Yeah, that's rough. All right, so we did 40s. Let's go into tactical. So first up. All right, we got women's tack.
I didn't have Megan Kennedy in women's tactical. So
I did. No, I'm kidding. I did not. I did not have insider knowledge about that.
So yeah, Megan contacted us right before the match, and she just moved, just changed occupation, or not occupation, just changed departments. Has been going through training and a ton of different things. So just physically was not prepared for the weights that were in the elite division. So decided to drop down to tactical and handed it to a lot of the girls in the division. It was not close there. We got about 15% between first place and second place. And who did I think Colin I had up there? Marlana I had up there. I don't remember who else I had in that division.
I don't either. I know I had Colin. I want to say I had Bailey. But again, I got to double check and we got to go back. I can't remember who I picked first in women's tactical. I thought I would have. I remember that more. It's not a huge division, but
let's go to men's tactical.
Still super tight race between them.
Dude, one of the Gross brothers, Chad. We knew it. We called it.
You counted Brad out.
I forgot about Brad. I didn't count him out. I forgot about him. I did have Austin up there. This was a cool race, though. Look how close this is.
Yeah. This is going to be got to be one of our tightest divisions as far as skill goes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're in the top 5, it's separated by 7%, and what's the point spread? Like 70 points.
That's pretty tight, man.
Yeah. And like we just saw, 70 points could be one stage.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Could be a swing on one stage. So
yeah.
This was a very cool division to watch for sure. The little bit that I did get to watch, I watched the Gross brothers out there doing their things. It was cool to see Brandon from T-Rex Arms was out there, and he put in a lot of work this year to get better at the sport and adapting from what the kind of shooting that he's typically used to taking into consideration our kind of shooting, and he's been putting the program in at T-Rex to get them more involved in not only the fitness side of things but the shooting side of things. So we've been happy to have them as a partner. Shane Coley was a guest on the podcast. High expectations. Let's click into him. Let's click into Shane and see what happened there for his weekend. He's at 85%, but again, like it is so tight. 85% is
15% from first to 15th.
Who's been doping on this marathon did it to him. Look at that. 38th place finish. Square the run.
That was the one.
And Sisyphus. Friday was just a rough day for him, but he destroyed Cream. I think that's probably the top time of any division. Yeah.
It was between him and Sal. Sal was not far off from his score. And I want to say, I gotta look this up real quick because I'm pretty sure. Well, we'll get into men's elite.
We'll get into men's elite. What are you trying to look for?
Sal's time.
So just click out a division. I think you got to click it twice. Yeah. So scroll up to the top. Go overall. or match. I'm sorry. Click to the right, and then go to overall. Let's see who won this stage. Shane. Oh, Sal.
It was Sal.
Look at that.
24-7-3.
That's a hell of a time on the spinner.
Smoked it.
That's crushing it, man. Yeah. Good job, Sal. And look, Shane just holding in there. Chad Gross also did really well at this.
I'd like to say that you counted Sal out of the top 5, and I didn't.
Listen, I intentionally programmed so short people weren't going to win.
Yeah, exactly. We intentionally program things so that certain people will do better. Yeah.
All right, let's go into back into the tactical division, men's tactical. So congratulations! Glad one of the Gross brothers made it up there. They're awesome, and they've been helping out in so many different ways with us and making sure that cleanup goes well, and they're always there to lend a hand. And excited. I think they said 4 of them are going to volunteer for Florida.
For Florida, yeah. If any of you guys want a job, by the way, we will hire any of the 4 of you guys, or all of you.
All 4 of you, yeah. All right, let's get out of men's tactical. Where are we going next?
So men's tack. We did men's, women's tack. Now we're in elite.
All right, let's switch over to the graphics. Nick has spent hours slaving over a computer to put these graphics together. Full screen it. Let's get ready for the big reveal.
The drum roll, please. All right.
Full screen it. Full screen it.
I'm trying. This mouse is not good.
There we go.
There it is.
Look at that.
Boom. Look at those graphics.
The men's elite national champion, Jacob Hepner.
Three-peat.
3
years in a row.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy either.
I do like Jacob a lot.
Oh.
Contrary to popular shit talking. I like Jacob a lot.
I can't. So is that around ejecting or around feeding?
It's around feeding.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's from...
Great photo.
That was from his stage in Iowa, his 2-gun stage. But, I mean, just... handedly won the event. I don't think it was super close at any point in the weekend. Everybody was very, very tight throughout the top 5, and really the top 8 was very tight. But I mean, you see the amount of stage wins: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first place stage wins, 2, 3 second place stage wins, and then a 4th, a 5th, and an 8th.
He never scored below 84% on the stage. I'm sorry, no, 75 on the mover stage. Outside of that, never scored below 85%.
Well, he's got 81 on cream.
Oh, and 80. See, I'm just making things up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. That's what the numbers run here for. But still, 81% is pretty impressive. Even when he got 11th, it was an 84%, which was Raising Arizona, which is the floater stage. Yeah. Which that was all a tight race for all those guys. But I mean, on the right hand side, you can see the percentage. So these are for the stages that we had record kept of all hits and misses for these stages, which was Sisyphus, Oof, One New America, Chipper, and Back to Chorin. I mean, all in all, 80% was his worst on Back to Chorin, which again, 45-degree, pretty hard rifle shot, and a lot of heavy workload. Guys were picking up about 400 pounds in each hand.
I think it was 410 on the farmer's carry, and I think it was 195 on the overhead.
Yeah.
You're looking at an average of, what would you say that is, like 92%? 80 plus 89. I'd say about 92% for the weekend.
It's got to be somewhere in the upper 80s, low 90s for sure.
That's awesome.
So impressive. I mean, some of those stages you've got like 3 or 4 misses total.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, handedly came away with a really good win and crushed it all weekend. Very impressive.
And what you'll notice on stage, let's talk through. Just wanted to see the run. Where was the run?
It was 2.
2.
Yeah.
Second place on the run, 96%.
Yeah.
Or 96 points. Awesome.
Yeah. Came in behind, Nick Deininger, which, he crushed it.
He ran so fast.
It is, 50 total minutes for that run with all the weight on is extremely impressive.
Congratulations, Jacob, again on a 3rd win. My men's national championship winner, my pick, Austin Aylward. I saw Austin smile like 5 or 6 times this weekend.
He's actually smiling in a YouTube video with Lauren Khalil. It's pretty funny. I was like, look at that guy. He's happy. I love it. I love seeing Austin smile. Austin's a good dude. And again, just like probably, I mean, along with him and Jacob, like 2 of the more consistent performers whenever they go out and compete.
Yep.
How they shoot, how they perform, like their mental management on stages is very, very high end. So it was good to see Austin finishing out in second place this year. Also had a stage with 99% accuracy. Stage 5, what was that? Oof. I think he missed 1 of his rifle shots.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a tough stage.
Yeah. One of the tougher stages that we've done all year. And still took 78% on that stage, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, you spend too much time on the firing line. You've got to make up for it. And guys moving that bag faster got in there. It looks like he had a finish for 5th, but only got 78 points out of that 5th. Mm-hmm. So the guys that got out there and went after it. 8th on. One thing that's very interesting here: not a single stage win. He had 1 second place finish, a whole heap of 3rd place finishes, a couple 8th place finishes, and a couple 5th place finishes, and a 7th. So he just performed well all weekend. Yeah. He kept consistent, exactly like you said, like didn't let not winning a stage deter him from putting an effort in the next one, continued to crush it. And man, like I'm very happy to see Austin on the podium this year.
Agreed. And then 3rd place, we got Sal Hernandez.
This is the photo you picked.
Yeah, dude. Shirtless Sal with the bicep veins popping.
Look how big that bag is.
You said Sal had a hard time picking up heavy bags, so I wanted to showcase Sal's strength picking up heavy bags. Good job, Austin.
How awesome was it to see Sal out there? Like Sal was. So this one switched during the last event too.
It did. So and it was upsetting because Jose has been a monster all year, and it's also very consistent, very good shooter, strong. But it looks like I think he tore his bicep, or he did something, and when he tried to get over the wall.
Yeah, the PTs and the doctors that were there took a look at it, and it wasn't torn that they could feel. At least it wasn't like it didn't. It wasn't complete tear. So
it was rough because he was doing very well on that stage, but unfortunately, on the second part of the final lead stage, Jose had to pull out of the event. So it was a bummer.
So if you're looking at Sal did have a 73% in one of his stages here, but it looks like he had some work penalties there and had a time cap, so he probably didn't get to his last round of shooting. If I imagine.
So that was oof. He had 26 misses and then a bag penalty.
So he didn't shoot an entire firing sequence.
He didn't shoot the whole last round.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, if you were to carry that percentage over, he had 2 misses. We'll assume he would have had maybe like 4 or 5 misses.
Yeah.
Sal shot in the mid 90s, 95, 90, 96%.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is incredible.
Super impressive. And then like you see the hit to work points, 59 hits on stage 4, which was Sisyphus, 89 hits out of 91. I'm sorry, 89 hits and 91 work points, and then 62 hits and 36.
Yeah.
Percentage points are all high in there for his accuracy. So again, very consistent. Had a couple of stages where he dipped down, but luckily those stages that he dipped down on, he wasn't there very far off, and it was a tight race between those guys above him. So
even here, so we're looking at a 1-stage win, but outside of that, or 2-stage wins. Sorry, Sal, 2-stage wins. He had some 11th and 12th and a 15th finish, 13th finish. Mm-hmm. Tight on the points, but still wasn't constantly in that top 10, and still pulled out an awesome 3rd place rise during that last stage.
Yeah. Again, just like staying in it and keeping your mental game very strong, because he could have very well been. He thought he was out of it, but by chance Jose hurts himself, and Sal was able to pull out that win.
And for our women's elite national champion, Janae DeCausin, crushed it.
2nd year in a row too.
Decided performance on everything. What's the long range? A little bit of a struggle on a long range. Mm-hmm. Got a 75% there. But if you're looking at the rest of these, first, whether it was performance on the firing line or performance in the physical portion of it, didn't matter if it was heavy, if it was light. she absolutely crushed everything, which is
super
awesome.
Super impressive. When I was doing the percentages and looking at hits between men's and women's elite, I mean, she was right up there with the guys and shooting better than the guys on a lot of the stages too. So just goes to show. She had, I think this is a more decided win for her than last year, and it shows.
Yeah, it looks like a bulk of her misses came on back to Chorin. Heavier stage. Did she make it to? She didn't time cap, so that
she
was
didn't.
just.
It was just tough. I think that was just tough shooting for everybody.
Yeah,
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, she's in the 90th percentile for a majority of the stages. One dip into 85 there, and she crushed it on the work portion of that stage.
Mm-hmm.
That there was a decision made to lower the bag weight for that division individually, which I think lent to that higher work score. I did want to see a little bit of a struggle for the bags going over the bar. I think that might have been a little bit too light. So maybe just, some feedback for us to take into next year is just there's a lot of work points there. We try to make sure that you can't outwork shitty shooting, which she didn't. This isn't a dig at her. It's a dig at us for the programming on that stage. Looks like second on the 12th stage.
Just behind E. I think E had I want to say E had like 108 points total between hits and work. Which
I think that's what Kurt had too, right? 108 or 100. Yeah. Awesome.
So, very impressive.
On in second place, E. Church. E had a great weekend, was chasing behind Janae on just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's first places here too, where there are ties on 4th, 5th, and 6th. Or did you just copy and paste the same one over?
You know, it looks like I might have messed up on those two. So that's my apologies, guys.
Just keep the same thing for every single one of them.
All the data's correct. I just
the placement isn't correct.
Just the placement's not correct.
Pay no attention to the placement.
We can go back to practice. We can go back to practice.
No, it's fine. We'll just look at it in here. I think you just copy and pasted the first two sections, but at least the shooting percentages are right.
Yeah.
So we notice here that E definitely struggled on the accuracy side of things compared to the rest of the field.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call this struggling for the average shooter, but definitely compared to the field, you've got a 79%, a 79%, a 66%, 71, and 93. So definitely shooting in that, I would say probably low 80s as far as percentile goes for compared to Janae, who was shooting in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
So definitely that's where you see the variance there in the scores. Great job by E all weekend, though. She missed that start of one of the stages. She was like 3 minutes late to show up for one of the stages.
Was she?
Yeah.
I wasn't. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was the one to America.
So she just had to kind of wing it when she started.
She just started 3 minutes after everybody else.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we're I don't want to say strict, but our stages start when they start. If you're not there, they start without you, regardless if it's the national championship or whatever it is.
If you show up without a plate carrier on or something.
Yeah. If you show up without a plate carrier on and do the whole stage, you get a DNF.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough life out here.
But it's unfortunate, but it's one of the things that happens, and I don't think it. Even if she would have 100%ed that stage specifically, it would have made a difference in the results. I'm pretty sure Janae had it locked even without.
She did. Yeah, and on that stage in particular, Janae, outshot everybody significantly.
Yeah.
She shot very well on that stage.
If we're looking at hits to work point ratio, he only had 47 and 78, and I think Janae was at like 120 and 80. That's Blair. Wrong way. 60 and 63 and 70. I'm sorry, wrong one. Go back. So 82 and 127 to 63 and 107. So you're talking about
significant difference.
40-point difference there. And regardless of what this column says, she didn't get first and 100 points on that one.
My bad. All right.
Blair Drum. Blair had an awesome performance all weekend. I know that she faced some adversity out there and had some struggles. She had a target blow off, and there were some things that happened that just the dice didn't roll her way the whole time. She was in 4th place going into the final event, and annihilated the final event.
Yeah,
I was watching that. This one I did get to watch because I was there for it, ROing, and I was watching everybody's targets, specifically the pistol targets, and I think she had one miss on pistol in the last
She
stage.
smoked the pistol shooting on this stage.
It was awesome.
It was very impressive. She shot very, very well on pistol for the stage. I can't remember the rifle, but I mean, she ended up with 97 points on that final stage collectively.
Yeah.
Which would be 108 to E.
And exit out of this, go to the so we can see what she actually. We'll go back to practice score. Ro, can you hit escape? Oh yeah, there you go.
I got it.
I'm curious to see what actually happened there because I think Blair won the final stage.
No, E won the final stage.
Oh, okay. Let's go. But let's go to women's elite. I'm curious to see what the percentage was on that final stage. It was close, and what happened was. Yeah. Okay. Blair finished second. Super, super awesome battle out there. Really close race between her and Janae. E went out there and just lit it up. Yeah. I'm sure because I think her and Janae, as far as work, they were pretty close.
They were, yeah. I think E just outworked everybody on that stage for the most part, but she also shot very well between those three, and Lupe shot well also. But I mean, what separated a lot of them was the work that was done on the field, the actual work points for sure.
I saw Blair, and it was her opportunity to take over third place. And I think she knew that in her head, whether she did or not. She went out there and she laid it all on the line. Yeah. It was really cool to watch. It's exciting when a final event like that in front of all those people, you can actually dictate placement by that final event. I think that's interesting. So I'm glad we did that. I'm glad people got to experience that part of the sport. So you had Crystal Herber in yours.
I did.
I did not. Did you have Lupe in yours?
I did.
Yeah?
I did. Okay. This was my top. This was my top 5 right here.
You picked it?
Yep. This was my top 5. Who else did you have in your top 5?
Go to the whole thing. Just go to overall instead of that stage. I had Meg in mine. I know that. Maybe I think I had Brittany Underwood in mine too. Yeah.
Okay, well, a little bit off.
Well,
no worries.
A rare miss.
Cal not too far off from top 5 either.
No, but if we're looking at point spread between them, I mean, still like a close race. It was really interesting to watch. It was fun to watch. Congratulations to all the women's elite out there.
Especially between 3rd and 5th, man.
Yeah. Again, determined by that final stage.
Yeah.
Lupe worked her butt off out there too.
She did. It was really cool to see her and Sal afterwards too.
And Sal was stoked for her.
Yeah, he was. It was really cool. It's always cool to see them perform. They always do really well, and I mentioned it on our earlier podcast, but between Lupe and Sal, I mean, they're two of the most winningest athletes. They've been around since the beginning of the sport, and they've got more podiums than just about anybody does.
Click over to men's elite. I want to talk about my favorite performance of the weekend. Let's talk about Zach Rodman pulling it up with his best finish. So Kyle Martin all weekend, I was hoping Kyle was going to get in that top 5 spot. You never want anybody to lose, but there's certain people that, are involved a lot and cheering and out there doing their thing. So don't let that percentage fool you. Right now it's 80 to 90. That was because Kyle didn't get to do the last stage. So that's a bit skewed there. It was much closer than that. I want to say it was like maybe 0.5%.
It wasn't far off. Kyle was super close all weekend. And Kurt was close throughout the weekend as well too. He had a couple stages that just didn't go his way. And, I was talking with him a little bit, and just kind of like, mental management came into play a big factor for him over the weekend. So Kurt, I did have as my first place pick for the year. He ended up dropping to 4th, but again, still a phenomenal performance over the weekend, I think.
And less penalties, but more time on some of the stages. So he shot very well. Let's click into Kurt real quick and just see what his performance looked like there. 17th. Who's been doping? That one got him there. He lost 35 points on that stage, but other than that, real solid performance. I was watching on the assault runner, and you could see he had a tremendous amount of pressure on himself for what he was doing, and just kept pulling pistol shots. And just kept getting on that bike, and like you dig yourself into that hole, like it's very hard to come out of. I think Kyle Martin won that stage. Did he win that stage? I watched him, and I'm pretty sure he won that stage with a pistol miss.
is. Jose.
Jose won it. Oh, damn, Kyle wasn't even close.
Yeah, Jose, Sal, Austin.
Awesome. That was a good stage.
And all super close. 20 seconds between the top four, top five.
Yeah.
Jacob just a second behind Michael Stoltz.
Where did Jacob finish in that? A fifth place finish.
Yeah.
A rare fifth place finish for Jacob Hebner.
Yeah.
For Bojack Renpe.
Tough stage, though.
Good job to everybody that was out there this weekend. I know we didn't talk about Merritt. We didn't talk about Jimmy or Jared, Nick Denninger.
Tim.
Yeah. Szymanski did awesome. I know he had a couple rough stages. Justin Betancourt. He's always awesome. And, like, you know, it's cool to see guys that are active law enforcement out there competing. I want to say, like, so if we look at our men's elite top five, Sal and Kurt and Jose, all LEO or Mill.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 of our top 5 men's elite finishers. And then if you go down the list, Zach obviously is in law enforcement. David Marin's in law enforcement. Of our top 10, 5 of them are law enforcement or military.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Spencer Panchek coming out with a 12th place finish as well.
Look at you go, Spence.
Impressive.
Congratulations.
New competitor this year. Great CrossFit athlete, learning how to shoot.
Athlete.
I mean, dude, really top 15, man. All super, super close. A lot of good athletes on that roster for top 15, man.
Top 21, really. Like anybody, Sykes and...
Damn, you're just going to cut Chris Brule out like that?
Cut him out like that.
It's rough. Sorry, Chris.
Samson. Poor Samson. Actually, not poor Samson. Samson's awesome. Has a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, dude.
18 years old.
Once that kid gets older, get some grown man muscle on him, like that dude's gonna be a rough force to compete against.
Keep competing, Samson. We like having you around. We think you're awesome, and want to see you inspiring other young kids to go out and do awesome stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Great weekend overall. I mean, for me professionally, like that was my favorite day I've ever worked. Like it was just it was very cool to see the culmination of everything for the year, because it was a very long setup for that. But the season overall, you know, there's a lot riding on the season, and it was I don't want to say make or break year for us, but it was you know, we had a lot of goals that we wanted to make sure that we crushed through, and I think seeing how everything turned out, especially on Sunday night, watching everybody there spectating was, for me, it was just a perfect way to end the season. I couldn't have been happier.
No, I agree. It was very, very cool to look back and sit there and watch people cheering for the people that are out there doing the thing that you love and you enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, other people enjoying this show that we're putting on.
Yeah.
And then providing a place for these athletes to go out there and express that level of fitness and that marksmanship capability that they have. It was my favorite event that we've done.
Yep. Agreed. Excited for next year.
Yeah. What are you excited for most about next year?
Oh, I'm excited to go hang out with the homies in Poland. That's going to be a fun one. Poland's going to be fun.
I agree. Poland will be very fun. We're all going to
Polish prison.
Whoa.
Probably not.
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
Oh, I don't want that on my bingo card at all either. That would be terrible. No, Poland will be awesome. I'm always excited to go to YO every year.
Yeah.
SIG is going to be a big one. I'm really excited for SIG next year.
Yeah.
I like that facility a lot. So those are my ones I'm most excited about. What about you?
Poland, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what kind of new athletes we pull in, what kind of new interests we grab.
Mm-hmm.
Expansion of the field is always great for me. Like
Yeah.
every year as we see more and more competitors come out,
Mm-hmm.
we see new blood come in, we see new interesting names, like just new stuff. And to me, that's like, it's a bigger field, which makes it more exciting. Like this year, it was great that Hepner won, but and great that Janae won. It's always like a race at the top.
Yeah.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
Love to see that, because it encourages people to be better.
Yeah.
If somebody's just running away with it, you're never like, you know, nobody cares. But if it's tight and people are working against one another, not working against, but like working to beat one another in a healthy way, that shit's awesome. I love that.
It makes it very exciting. We definitely saw some new guys come into the season. I mean, Jacob took his first loss this year to Kurt, so that's why we were all like, hey, man, Kurt might have a good shot at actually taking national championship spot. So, you know, that's just one example. But it was a fun season for sure, man. I'm excited for new types of programming for next year, seeing how else we can put together a good event. So
You're just gonna hold on to this the whole time.
yeah. Safe. It's a. I do.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Nick is very excited about next year, so we're gonna get after it, and we're gonna go take some much needed rest.
Yeah.
We'll have the podcast coming to you guys over all the months until leading up to next season. Weekly podcast. Rose committing to it.
There's not that many months anyway. It's
3 months.
no.
December, January, February.
February doesn't count. We work in February.
At the end of February.
We've got December. We'll see you guys in a week.
Bye.